Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. Once again with the show You Got This. It's a show of DIY do's and don'ts. And I'm sitting in my home office recording this, and Rosalie's down in LA recording out of her home office. So, and it looks like she just froze. So we're going to keep talking. One of the joys of technology, right?
I got you now.
All right. We make this happen, in the lovely Nevada County and our wonderful internet, and yeah, so we're making make a go of it. But yeah, and it's been kind of crazy. I know weather's been nutty, winds and rain and trees down and power outages and all kinds of things. I know it's been crazy, and pretty much all Northern California. How's it been down in LA? Is it you guys getting hit as well?
It with just for me rain, but like coastal has been pretty bad. I think they're in a little bit more trouble than we are. But I think
the high waves and the wind and
and tomorrow
on out there is pretty brutal.
And I think tomorrow is like our temperatures are plummeting. So tomorrow is going to be like a record breaking low temperature wise, but I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if we're going to have winds, but it's winter.
What's the record low? It's going to be like 55 or something.
Oh, I think it might be high 40s, maybe.
That's cold.
It's really cold when you're not used to it. I mean, you know me, anything below like 68, I'm freezing. So you can see I'm in a jacket inside my house right now. It's just how I'm born. It's just how I am.
Yeah. I'm finding the older I get, the less I like cold. So yeah, I like to be warm. Yeah.
Well, and you are actually, you are getting older. You shared that meme about back in the day, that show Three's Company and those different landlords. And when you share things like that, and I'm only a few years behind you, a couple years behind you, maybe 3, I'm like, ow, stop telling everyone how old we are.
I mean, Mr. Roper was like your age, right?
Yeah, I think he was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
That's kind of crazy, right? You're like, holy moly, I'm actually older than Mr. Roper right now. So,
yeah. Well, he had polyester suits and then the tie, if I remember, the little scarf. And you haven't gone that route, so we're probably pretty good. We got another few years.
Yeah. So we're talking a little bit offline and off the show, and we're trying to figure out what we're to talk about. And I know we've gone through a bunch of weather, and it's been rainy and stuff. So I've had this weekend I had a little chance to do a little painting, getting back into painting and trying to learn how to use watercolors. It's been kind of fun. So some of you that follow me on social media probably have seen some of my stuff as of late. And yeah, it's been a hoot. And last night I kind of worked on some washes and watercolor washes and trying different things. Trying to keep the mind going, right? I mean, I've got a good friend that was just diagnosed with dementia at, how old is he? 75, 76. So it's like, I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to avoid that. It's one of my biggest fears is dementia. So, still young, but at least young at heart. But yeah.
I mean, you lost the hearing a while ago, and your long-term memory
now, and my glasses, and
your long-term memory is not so great. If you want to ask anyone you work with, but
my memory's been bad my whole life. But
for sure.
Yeah,
but I think the good thing is one, I think it's cool how much you play around with the watercolors, and I think that YouTube, and you were saying you watched other people's kind of the way their process. And I always think that to me is like what YouTube was meant for, right? Is like picking up things that are of interest and stuff. So I actually love what you're doing, because I have some of your original paintings from years ago. And
years ago.
Yeah. I've always thought that I always liked your eye for design. So it's kind of fun to see what you're coming up with. I think you could make some really cool art. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll do some ABT stuff. I don't know. I mean, you got the eye for it.
I have this vision of like this big pipe wrench, but kind of a mechanical drawing on a big like 8x4 piece, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, it's kind of fun, and keeping the mind going. And like you say, YouTube is kind of one of those things that a lot of people forget to utilize. And I remember, shoot, when it first came out and the kids were skiing and we were all skiing and we didn't have a lot of money, and I learned how to wax skis from YouTube. And now I'm
Did
learning
you
how
really?
now I'm learning how to watercolor. And I also I like to bicycle a lot, and I learned how to work on my bike through YouTube because things keep changing. I've always worked on my bikes since I was young. My dad kind of put me into that, and I started building bikes when I was a teenager, right? And then now, some of the components are so technical now. Like I even got like electronic shifters and trying to figure out how to adjust electronic shifters, and when batteries go bad, where's the battery, and that sort of thing. And YouTube is there for me. So yeah, it's been great. So, and we pointed out a lot of times on our show, it's like, if you're get stuck in a DIY project at home, chances are that other people have also gone through that same problem or that same experience. So sorry about all the prompting. I should have put myself on do not disturb. Are we still there? Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Great. And unfortunately, I lost your screen, but that's just normal. So in any event, so it's been fun. You're going to have to kind of cue me in on when the time is up, because I do not see you now, but we're just going to keep rolling with this. So let's roll into our show. So water filtration, water softening is what we thought we'd talk about today. One thing that is really prominent in my brain is, you can buy the filter or you can be the filter, right? So water as a whole is good, and you need to drink, your 8 cups or 8 glasses a day. And if you're drinking tap water or any water, generally speaking, our water going into the pipes at the plants, if you've got pipe treated water, is really good. But it's the distribution that we pick up a lot of stuff. If you're on well water, you're actually picking up, the rain that's coming down. We're in California. The rain's pretty clean. We don't have a lot of smog or, acid rain or anything like that. But as it goes through the strata of the soil, it picks up a lot of stuff. So, it'll pick up calcium, magnesium, iron, arsenic. It'll get acidic. In some areas, like Salt Creek gets a lot of salt, like down 49 area down Lower Brewer Road. We have a lot of problems with salt down there. So there's ways of conditioning our water. There's ways of making it so it's more palatable, more potable, and better tasting. I think I already said that, but in any event, and a couple of the problems that we have. So as the water goes through the strata and picks up calcium, magnesium, that's what we call hardness. And what we do for hardness is we typically put in a water softener. Some of the things that, some of the negative aspects of hard water, it's not necessarily bad for you because it's just calcium and magnesium, right? But one of the bad things is when that happens is as we heat water, it excites the molecules and it drops those rocks, those minerals out of solution. So you have scale buildup on all your plumbing fixtures, on all your pipes, and even on your toilet. We've talked about that here, where the jets inside the toilet can be clogged. You also get water spotting on your shower doors, your glasses out of your dishwasher if you're not using a softener inside your detergent. All these kind of negative aesthetic things occur, and also for maintenance. So one of the things that we do is we install water softeners, and there's a couple different ways of softening your water. One of the tried and true and the best way is we use salt. And a saltwater softener, all it does is it exchanges the molecules, it exchanges the calcium magnesium for sodium chloride. And so we get rid of the calcium magnesium and exchange it for sodium chloride. And now you've got a little bit of salt in your water. It's not a lot. I know some people get kind of worried about, if you're on a low salt diet, you got high blood pressure. They get a little worried about it. But everything that I've read, and I'm not a doctor, but consult your physician on how much salt you can actually be taking in. Well, the water softener, in our area, you're barely talking about the amount of salt that's in a slice of regular bread. So it's a minuscule amount. Even if you're drinking your full 8 glasses of water, because typically what we're dealing with in Nevada County is fairly low hardness. We're talking, the most I've actually seen, I think, is like 20 grains, which is pretty low comparatively to other places like SoCal, Arizona, some of the places where you've got limestone strata underneath, and they pick up a lot, and you can get 50 grains down there, 100 grains. So it takes a lot of sodium to exchange all that, get rid of all that calcium and magnesium. Some of the benefits that you can have with a water softener is it prevents calcium buildup in your pipes and your fixtures. It also, if you've got a tankless water heater, if you do not have some way of softening your water and you are on well water, highly, highly, highly recommend it, because it will clog the little heat exchanger in there and make it so it doesn't work. We've actually had tankless water heaters that have been destroyed because of hard water, and because they didn't have any, they weren't doing a regular maintenance of flushing it and maintaining the fixture or the appliance like they should, and they didn't have a water softener. So if you have a tankless and you don't have a water softener, highly recommend it. Also, it builds layer upon layer upon layer of calcium magnesium inside of your water heater. Again, that's why we recommend flushing your water heater at least on a yearly basis. So, but also highly recommend getting a water softener. So some of the benefits are, decreases it prevents scale buildup, improves water quality, protects appliances. All of our appliances have, small and smaller tubes going through them because we're using less and less water, and they become impacted by the buildup. Reduces energy consumption. So like your water heaters, your dishwasher, all those things. Something that a lot of people don't realize is hard water typically means you have to use more soap as well, because the calcium magnesium impedes the sudsing action of soap and the cleanliness capabilities of soap. So you actually have to use more soap. And there's been studies showing that, installing a water softener can technically save you, it can pay itself back just on the cost of detergents and soaps, which is kind of wild. But those are some of the main things that a water softener will help with. There's other types of water softeners besides salt. You can use calcium chloride, which is or potassium chloride, as opposed to sodium chloride. So it does the same thing. It's still chloride, but it doesn't have the salt part of it. And then there are some tools out there that either coat the molecules in, there's a product called Sulfos that we use, and we'll encase those molecules so they run through. And those work pretty good for fixtures. Then there's some other non-salt type of appliances out there that do water softener. Some of them are kind of snake oily, but some of them actually work. Some use like magnets and electronics. I'm not really quite sure on those, because usually from what I've read is it works really well within a short distance of that fixture. And if you're using the water continuously, it keeps it good. But as the water sits, the molecules are still there. There's no removing of them. So they become active again. But those are some of the ways that you can, reduce the level of calcium magnesium in your water. But I thought I'd also talk about a little bit more. Some of the things that we also run into in our area are iron. If you look around our area, you see the red soil. That red soil is from iron oxide in our soil that's oxidizing, that's rusting. So we have a lot of iron in our water, and it's good to get some iron. But like anything, it's also, you don't want too much iron in your diet. So we've got products that can actually, products that can actually reduce the amount of iron in the water. One of the weird things that we get in our area, which is something that I just learned when we moved up to Nevada County, is there's an organism that's that actually eats iron. It's iron bacteria. And if you've got a well that has a really bad rotten egg smell, it's there's a likelihood that it is iron bacteria that's eating the iron and then dying. And then you get that kind of, as they die and they decay, they get that rotten egg smell of like that pond water smell. It's pretty nasty. So we've got a product that actually can help remove the iron, and actually there's another product that we've got that can actually remove the iron bacteria as well. Some old school, I had some people that had been in the area for a long time, and they would just pour like a gallon of bleach into their well every couple months, and that would reduce the level of bacteria in their well water. But then you're drinking bleach, so
I was going to say, that's probably not recommended, right? I mean, that sounds
yeah.
scary.
I mean, tap water. Most municipalities use chlorides of some or use chlorine of some sort um, as a disinfectant. So if you're drinking NID water, you've got some kind of disinfectant in it. Um, it's essentially bleach or chloramine. Um, so it's about the same, but when you're pouring a gallon down, you might have an extra dose of it. So,
That sounds
and again,
horrifying. Can
and
you
again,
talk?
you can
Can
buy a
you
filter. You can be the filter, right? So
can you
once you do
talk
that,
for?
good,
Sorry, you can't see me, so I'm interrupting you.
please.
So you mentioned a couple products that we have. Is it possible for you to talk about those real quick, or is that
Yeah, how much money?
the
How much
treat?
time we got left on this?
Okay, so you've got about 7 or 8 minutes left
Okay,
total.
great. Okay, yeah. So I'll get into one of the products that we've found that we really like right now is the Halo. Excuse me, the Halo 5, and it's one of these products that is fantastic for tap water, for municipal water, pipe treated water in our area, but also can work on wells depending on how hard your water is. So it'll soften the water, and it uses a carbon filter that will remove a lot of the or reduce the amount. I can never say removes because there's some legal things about that, but it reduces the level of things like chloramine, the bleach, chlorine. It reduces the level of lead. It reduces the level of all these things that the water's picking up on distribution. And being that I'm old, I mean, I used to solder with 50% lead, 50% tin, and that was just back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, it wasn't seemingly that long ago, but I guess, there's been a lot of kids that are in their 40s now that would differ, say something else. But anyway, we were literally using lead solder in our for soldering all our pipes. So if you're in a house that was built in, the 80s or 90s or older, chances are you've got lead solder in your plumbing. So you want to have some kind of filtration to pull a lot of that stuff out. The Halo 5 is one of those products that works really good at doing that. Um, the taste is great. The maintenance on it is also fantastic. One of the problems I have with water softeners is I've got one in my house. Is you have to continually put salt in it. And if you forget to put salt in it, it doesn't work. So can't tell you how many times we've rolled up to somebody's house and they've got a water softener, and they just moved in and they didn't even know about it. They didn't even know, the previous owner didn't tell them how to maintain it. And now they've got all this buildup. So, one of the nice things about the Halo 5 is it doesn't require salt, and it does reduce the level of hardness. And I think they're good to about 3 to 5 grains. So, majority of the households in Nevada County, this product would actually do the trick without having to put salt in the water, not having to have a brine tank. And then you have the added benefit of a charcoal filter that's taking out a lot of the nastiness of, it reduces the level of iron, reduces the level of all this stuff. And carbon is this amazing element that, it's essentially charcoal, or it is charcoal. It absorbs, it pulls, it draws things into little crevices inside of the charcoal and holds it there in stasis. And
You
then
know, you know my thing with charcoal, right? You know
no,
my trick. Okay, so and I learned this the hard way. Just so you know, you know this about me. Several years ago, 10, 15, I don't know, 20 years ago, when I was doing a lot of, I don't know, free living, we would drink too much. And so
Oh
you
yeah,
could take charcoal tabs. Remember that? And
yeah,
charcoal tabs actually absorb the toxins or that. So essentially, like, let's say that it was 4th of July. It was a day that you were going to be potentially visiting with a lot of people throughout the day. And
right.
so if I wanted to be able to be just as like normal at 8 o'clock at night as I was at noon, right? I would just take some couple of charcoal tabs as I went through the day. And honestly, you'd wake up the next day without a hangover. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor, but I'm
Right.
just saying there are
Right.
real benefits to
For
charcoal.
anecdotal stuff, yeah, use charcoal tabs if you want
Yeah.
to go out and have a little fun.
I
That's
mean,
pretty cool. Yeah, it's an amazing element, right? It does a lot, and it gets reduces stinks too. Like we actually had a product out. Remember the Doctor Stinky when we first
I
were
do.
we had a product that we were making that got rid of sewer gas smells, and people
Now
saw
they call it something else, and they made millions and billions of dollars. So we should have stuck with it,
we're
but
too
that's another
early.
story.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
stick with it. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh well.
Anyway,
Uh,
yeah.
all right.
What
So you got about 3 minutes to go through what you got to say. Don't forget to
Okay,
mention
cool.
our
Okay,
specials.
so hopefully all this stuff helps. So if if you need any water conditioning, if you're concerned about your water, give us a call. We can come out and do a free test for you. Um, or if you're really concerned, if you get biological issues, you can take it to Cramner. But you can give us a call at 530-230-9092. That number again, 530-230-9092. You can find us on the web at abtplumbing.com. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and all the normal socials. Also, we've got these specials going on still. We've got the $49 plumbing water heater safety inspection and plumbing inspection. We'll also do a water test for you at that point. So we'll go through the entire plumbing system, make sure everything's working. We've got a $49 electrical safety inspection. We've had some power outages. Good idea to have your electrical system checked out for $49. We have an HVAC heating and air inspection and safety inspection, and for $49. And then lastly, we've got a $97 drain cleaning special. Any residential drain with a cleanout, accessible cleanout, we will clear the drain. If we do not clear it, it's free for $97. And again, 530-230-9092, abtplumbing.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.